Video?
Hello and welcome to Little Previews, Big Bike Races. I am the little guy Matt. We are brought to you by the Wide Angle Podium Network, the biggest little podcast network out there. Today we're here to talk about Milan San Remo, the biggest, longest, sometimes the most boring, but then in the end, the most exciting classic monument, whatever you want to call it, of the season. It's going to be an exciting race. I think going in, we got three hot favorites. We got Van der Poel, we've got Wout van Aert, and we got Julian Alaphilippe. Van der Poel trying to become the first rider to win this race and Strade Bianche in the same year, since Kwiatkowski did it in 2017, Alaphilippe did it in 2019, and Wout did it in 2020. So, wait a minute. That seems to be a new thing that's happening. Nibali's the only one in the last 4 years who didn't win the Strade at the same time, the same year as he won this. So, if you're a betting person with current trends, that might be the way to go. Though pre-2017, 2016, all the way back into the 90s, this has been mostly a race for the sprinters, who occasionally, most likely, rode something like Paris-Nice. So, outside chance, Demar wins again, Degenkolb wins again. But let's have a look at the course. It's a long one. Like I said, 299 kilometers. Not a lot happens in the beginning, as you can see. It's mostly just a straight line. Oh, we're going up a teeny bit. We're going up, not much. We're going up, it's slightly up. Oh my gosh, it's a climb. People, it's a climb. It's a climb. Oh, wow, it's such a big climb. It goes off the paper. It's off our chart. But that doesn't mean it's really that big a climb. It's so early in the race, they're just going to kind of float over it. I don't think a break's gone that's been consequential since like the 90s. Hey, we're on the coast now. All right, we're cruising along. We're just cruising along. All right, here we are. 240K, we start getting some of these little climbs. Couple quick succession. Really not very consequential until you get to the Cap Alberta. A little punchier, a little harder. Still, usually not a big deal in the race, but it is when some jerk always lights off a bunch of flares on the side of the road. So positioning is key coming in to right here, just so you don't get caught in that cloud of smoke and crash, get behind a crash and have to chase back on. Got a little bit of a climb, or a flat section to the Capressa. Now this is where the race really heats up, but it's in that in between the Berta and the Capressa where you're going to see your first real substantial moves go, and you're going to see teams just trying to position their leaders to get up to Capressa in a good position, because that's really what matters if you want to win this. Now, Capressa always seems like it's going to be a good launching pad, and it almost never works. But between the Capressa and the Poggio, we've got about 10K flat. That is the Scarponi Memorial Bridge. Of course, Scarponi did bridge across to the break one time there, and I don't know, he got 6 or something. He didn't win, but he did make it into the final move, one of the rare times the kind of move went on the Capressa. So that is the spot if you want to do the Scarponi. Now we get into the meat of the race. This is really where the race is won and lost, is positioning coming into the Poggio. Get up the Poggio, and at least the last 4 years, you got to get over that top with 8 to 10 seconds to get down that twisty descent. Obviously, it doesn't show it on here. And then like 3K flat into town. So we've got 3 scenarios of how this race could go. And these were already laid out in Torino. Torino Adriatico is a Milan San Remo simulation. We decided over at Slow Ride Podcast. So you have 3 options. Stage 1 of Torino was won by Wout, Caleb Ewan in second, and Gaviria in third. Now that was just your standard big sprint stage. And if this comes to a big group sprint, that's the way it's going to go. Option 2 is a break of a few riders. That's how that one's going to go. So That's the most likely scenario. I feel like Alaphilippe, Van der Poel, and Wout get away. I'm sorry, the villain of cycling, Alaphilippe, outfoxes him. And then we've got the small group, anywhere from 4 or 5 to 10 riders, and that's Van der Poel territory. He's going to dust everybody in that sprint. So, option 3. And these are the first 3-stage finishes of Torino, and that is the simulation. You have one of these to pick from, and there are no other options. I 100% guarantee there's no other options. So, there you have it. Milan San Remo in a nutshell. If you like this silly video, please hit subscribe down there. Subscribe to all the other shows on the Wide Angle Podium Network. You get those podcasts in your ears. And go check out the great video Bill just did about Wout van Aert's top 10 cycling moments. And see if he adds another one to the list tomorrow.